Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious about what this is or you have got a bit lost. I am Chatty. Welcome to my channel, Chatty the Mad Chatter, where I'm going to be chatting away madly about the top 10 series I am most excited to read the sequel for. So for this video, I'm only going to be talking about incomplete series. So even though I am currently in the middle of Fixing the Fool and I'm so excited to continue with that, that series is already complete, so I'm not including that one. So these are all series where we are expecting the next books to be published. If you've not been on my channel before, please expect chaos and a lot of waffle, but I'm attempting to see if I can do this really short. So we will find out if I can. I don't edit my videos, it is one continuous shot. So cheers everyone, clink, clink, clink. Let's see if I can manage it without the chaos because I'm not redoing this. So let's see how we go. So although this video was going to be the top 10, I have to do an honorary mention to an 11 because in between coming up with the concept and deciding my plan, I read another book that kind of bumped everything down a bit. So honorary 11 goes to This Vicious Grace by Emily Thende. So the new book for this is out some point in the autumn, and I cannot recall what it's I cannot recall its name at all. But this is a YA fantasy, and I really enjoyed this one. We had this wonderful setting, this kind of like Sicilian vibe. We had a really fun protagonist, and the chemistry between her and her bodyguard was brilliant. You find out secrets about kind of both of them, about kind of what's going on, and this magic is where she's called the Finestra, which is like someone who is chosen to kind of almost be the savior of her people, and you have possible Fontes who all kind of have like an extra special magic gift. The Finestra's gift is that she can channel and use their gift. So whoever she chooses as her Fonte, she can then channel that gift, and both of them can, it kind of like increases that power. And it's all in time for this kind of big kind of attack on their town. So it has sort of vague mentions to the deities in here and kind of the history and lore behind that. But unfortunately, she has killed her Fontes, which is a sort of unheard of. So she's in a bit of a sticky situation. And I really enjoyed this one. And we have been left at a point where it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. So I am very excited for this one, and it is coming out soon. Okay, so the official number 10 is one that I am really excited about. But at the moment, because I've not read it for a while, and because I've been kind of enjoying sort of books that are a bit more faster paced, I have, apart from Fixing the Fool, I have kind of, it didn't kind of jump out at me as much as some of the other ones have. But what I'm still very excited about continuing this series, and that is the Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwynne. So I have read The Shadow of the Gods. I have yet to read The Hunger of the Gods, and there will be more books forthcoming. I do not know how many. So I was supposed to read this year, but both myself and Mason, who were trying to buddy read, we both just weren't in the right place at the right time. And I really wanted to reread The Shadow of What Was Lost before I got to this one. But unfortunately, like whilst Mason was ready and waiting for me to read that one, by the time I'd finished it and then was ready, he then wasn't ready. So we just haven't managed to do it. So I still definitely want to read this. I really enjoyed my reread of it and took a great enjoyment, like being more relaxed with it, knowing what's going to happen to the characters. And it has kind of sharpened my mind to everything. But that was back at the beginning of the year. We are now in September, and I'm interested, but it hasn't quite gripped my mood. I'm hoping as the days get darker, I might be in more of a mood for this kind of Norse epic, and it will reignite my spark. But I do know that at some point I am going to be very excited by this. It's just my mood is not quite there now, which is why this is number 10. Number 9, I don't have that book. It's a library book, and this is one that I read. I can't remember. I read at some point this year, and that is The Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao. Now, The Iron Widow I really enjoyed. Again, I think you have to be in the right mindset for it. It is very fast paced, but there is it's quite dark. It's very graphic. There is a very brutal world. And the way it left the book, there is a lot happening. So I am very excited to pick that up and read. We don't have, I think it's the summer of 2024. It was supposed to be this year, but it's been pushed back. And I've totally forgotten the title of the next one. But it has a front cover and it has a title. And I think quite a lot of people will be anticipating the release of this book as well. The reason it is kind of on the sort of the bottom half rather than the top is just because right now, again, it's all dependent on mood. I feel quite exhausted just by having to sort of like dive into all that world and deal with all of that emotions. But it does feel incredibly fast paced. There is it's left you wondering more about the world as well as the protagonists and kind of what's going to be happening next to them. So I think when I'm in the right brain space, I am going to be so excited when it's released. I'll be so excited to pick it up and continue. But right now, it's not one of the ones that I'm definitely kind of reaching for. Other ones kind of have more of a claim on me, but I'm very excited when we do get to that point. Number 8, I can feel going further up as we kind of start going into the darker months, especially with spooky season around the corner, and that is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I love this book so much more than I thought I was going to when I read it last year, to the point that I am really excited to reread this. When we get our hands on the second book, Foxglove, when Foxglove comes in, I kind of want to read them back to back. I want to reread Belladonna and then go straight into Foxglove. That's what I would love to do because I feel that's going to be a really fun time. I love the characters in this. I loved the humour. I loved Adeline Grace's voice as she told this story. The atmosphere in this was just wonderfully gothic and delightful, and I love all of the kind of the plant analogies and use in here. So I'm very keen to see where the story goes with Foxglove. I'm not quite on tenterhooks because I quite enjoyed where we left it. To a certain extent, it sort of felt resolved, and then just with this little kind of tidbit thrown in, and we have more about Signa. We have kind of more about Signa's past to kind of come out. So when I get to that point, I am going to be really excited again. But for the moment, I'm quite happy with where it is. I'm just kind of like mellowing there. Number 7, yes, it is 7 because that was 8. Number 7, again, I don't have. But that is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. And this, I think, has just come out. So the second book, I think it's a duology. Radiant Emperor duology, I believe. He Who Drowned the World is the second book, which, if it's not out, will be out very soon. I have already looked, and my library are in the process of ordering a copy. So when I'm in the right space for it, I will be ordering that as soon as I can, and hopefully getting to read it. So currently, although I'm very excited whilst talking about it, I'm not as excited as I am about the later books that I will talk to you about soon. But again, I think that's because this is very much a kind of like a slow burn kind of book. It was sort of like it read more of like a historical fiction. But I loved that kind of historical period. I love the protagonist and some of the other characters in there. I'm very excited to see kind of what happens to them. Once I'm in that right headspace, I will be really keen to pick it up. Shelley Parker Chan's writing, the detail in it, the way it conjures up, it's beautiful. I really enjoyed her writing style and the pacing of the book. But I do feel I will need to have my wits about me when reading it, and just kind of remind myself of what had just happened. I feel there is going to be more magic in this one. It could also go any which way because we have very grey characters in these books. I think I know what the 2 power plays are going to be, and I'm very excited to see what comes out of that. but I'm a little bit worried and nervous at the same time. So there's a part of me that is aware that I might not love He Who Drowned the World as much as She Who Became the Sun, because it might hurt characters that I like. But it did end up on a decision that was quite painful, as much as I can see why it happened. So we will see kind of what plays out in terms of the characters and everything that happens. There we go. And just falling short of the top 5 at the moment, I have Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. So this was the book that I read recently that, oh, it matches. It's like I'm wearing the book cover. I just should have had a gold necklace on, and then I could have worn the book cover. I'm in like a teal and navy, and that's the dark colours of the sea here on the front cover. Anyway, slight tangent. This is a book that knocked This Vicious Grace off the top 10. So I recently just read it, and I'm very excited to pick up the sequel. This was a huge amount of fun. Again, the protagonist was a really interesting character in terms of like her own nature, her history, her kind of ideology, and how she kind of changed opinions on certain things. What she's kind of learned about the world and about herself and about everything, and what we as a reader learned about it was really interesting. The magic in this world is fascinating. I have never read a book about a siren character or about a character who is constantly like battling with their own innate desire to kill. So I found this whole concept really exciting. I'm very fond of quite a lot of the characters in here. I really enjoyed the secondary subplot of the romance as well. And the way this ended, like nothing was really tied up neatly. There was like the plot finished, but there is such kind of fallouts from what's happened that I'm very excited for the next book. So I really hope that it comes out just within a year and I get to read it kind of in the summer again, because this was so much fun. And I really want to know what happens next in her life, in this journey, in this world, where we're going to go. It feels really, really exciting. So keen for this one. I've realised I've stopped saying whether they were YA or adult. So I'll just do a little recap because I absolutely can't remember. Just briefly, before we move on to the top 5, there we go. So number 11, YA fantasy. Number 10, adult Norse saga. Number 9, sci-fi dystopia YA. That was Iron Widow. Number 8, Belladonna is YA gothic fantasy romance. Number 7, wow, counting is fun. Number 7 is She Who Became the Sun, which is an adult historical fantasy of Chinese mythology. And number 6 is YA fantasy. Okay, on to the top 5. So in 5th place, I have another YA fantasy. It's more of an urban fantasy, and it is based on the Arthurian legend, and that is Bloodmarked. I'm really feeling in the mood for picking this book up right now. It's been a long time since I've visited this story. This is the next book I need to read, and I believe there is more that comes after this one. I love the magic. I'm excited about the characters. I'm really excited to see where the plot is going to go for this, and I'm going to be reading it very, very soon. Another one that I've just recently finished, number 4, is an adult urban fantasy, I suppose sort of supernatural because it involves witches, and that is Juno Dawson's Her Majesty's Royal Coven series. And when I thought about this video, I was going to say that I'm really excited to read The Shadow Cabinet. I have now read The Shadow Cabinet, so I am now eagerly awaiting the 3rd book. I think it's called Human Rights, and I think it should be released June 2024. I will hopefully know at some point. But this, at the moment, because I've just read it, this could easily have been number 1 that I'm most excited about, just because of how it was left, how my brain is still thinking about these characters. It was just so good. It was just so good. I'm just I'm hoping like some of the themes of the first book kind of come back into play in the third book a bit more, and a certain character has more of the storyline. But even though we got slightly different themes in this one, we still followed our main cast of characters. It was still really interesting, wonderful kind of muddy, I keep calling it muddy characters. So I just can't wait to read the next book. I think whatever it is, it's going to be a really fun time, and no doubt with Juno Dawson's healthy dash of social politics in here as well. Okay, top 3. So top 3 involves some middle grades. You know, I love a middle grade. And again, I think these are very hard because I really love all of them. And one's very different from the other two, but this is the kind of order they're in for me for the moment. So in third place, I have Amari, the Bureau of Supernatural Investigations by B.B. Alston. So fantasy middle grade. We have Amari, who discovers that she is eligible to go to this school, and this whole kind of supernatural world that is like hidden from regular people is suddenly opened up to her. There's a mystery behind her family. It's a very interesting gift she has. There is a lot of prejudice that she experiences, and the world is so much fun. Like, the whimsicalness of this world is delightful. The characters in here are wonderful. Amari's a brilliant protagonist. There is a threat of real danger, and I felt that it kind of grew and kind of took on a new level in this book. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the third. Third book is due out April 2024. It was supposed to be September, but it's got pushed back. And I can't wait. I'm going to be rereading the first 2 Amari books. So I'm going to be rereading Amari and the Night Brothers and Amari and the Great Game, and then reading the third Amari book, which I am very excited to see what on earth is going to happen now. Like, it was left on such a kind of like cliffhanger of things that I'm really excited by, but at the same time I'm kind of nervous because I feel the story might feel very differently to the other 2, and I was just so delighted about Great Game and how it really stuck the landing and gave me all the same feelings as the first book. So we will see. I have faith B.B. Alston, but I'm not going to overhype it to myself, but I am really, really excited to continue this series. The second one won't come as a surprise unless you're going, why is this not number 1? And this is an adult epic of epic fantasies. It is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. So most people are very excited about the 5th book that may or may not come into our possession within the next 2 years. I still haven't read this 4th book. I still have not read Rhythm of War, and it is definitely a book that I should have read as soon as it was published. I adore the Stormlight Archive. I think quite a lot of people, it's favourite Sanderson series for many, many reasons. The world building, the characters, the kind of themes that are explored. It's just beautiful. I'm someone who loves a detailed world and a slow burn book as long as I get character emotional payoff, and we always get payoff for the emotional setup that happens in Sanderson, so I am very excited about that. I'm very excited, but it's been such a while. It's been such a while since I've been in the Stormlight Archive headspace, but I think what needs to happen is I just need to finish reading all of Hob and say goodbye to the Realm of the Eldlings, then I can go back into Stormlight. I did reread the first 2 books and meant to reread Oathbringer in preparation for this, but for various different reasons it didn't happen. So I intend to, I'm not going back to the beginning, but I do want to reread Oathbringer before I read for the first time Rhythm of War. And I felt this because of, in terms of my excitement of like having read other books and me going, no, I know I'll love it when I get there. My mood hasn't kind of been there yet, but picking these books up to for this video, and suddenly I'm just like, oh yes, I can't wait. It's like a little treat for myself. It's like, I'm not going to rush this. It is going to be read at the right time for me, and I'm excited and I'm going to enjoy it when I'm there. So I'm very happy with this being in its number 2 placement. I think it's going to be amazing and I can't wait. What can top that, you ask? Well, this is my list. This is my list. So there is a series that at the moment, this is the one that I am most excited for. After I've read the next books in all of these, then maybe my excitement levels will change. But for now, I am the most, I think, invested and excited about this middle grade fantasy series. So the book I am the most excited, the sequel I am the most excited about getting my hands on is Silverborn, the 4th book in the Nevermoore series. Middle grade is my vibe. I adore whimsical fantasy. This world that Jessica Townsend has created is phenomenal. There is so much glorious magic in here. There are beautiful, wonderful side characters and found family that I just want to hang out with. The stuff that Morrigan endures. Oh, Morrigan. Love Morrigan. She is such a wonderful, warm-hearted protagonist that has her own kind of like steely grit. Like, she wants to do the best that she can, and she looks out for her friends, she looks out for her family. She also wants to prove herself. There was a lot of kind of she also experiences a lot of prejudice, but she also was kind of like trying to work out who she was, and like, is she loved? Is she worthy of being loved? And this was all explored in Hollowpox, along with her own particular gift being explored so much more in this book. And her being able to look at her powers a lot more. So with Silverborn, we're going to see even more of that, and I'm really excited. There is also a lot of other prejudice that we kind of saw explored in this world, in this one. So there are very dark aspects of this world. And so I'm excited to see what Jessica Townsend gives us. I'm excited to see there's an interesting relationship between like Morrigan's arch enemy and kind of the powers of good and evil. There is also very much kind of an exploring of like your own self and exploring what is the right thing to do, you know, that whole concept of the greater good and all of that. Like there's a lot of that to be explored, and kind of like not judging people. And I am very keen to get back in this world. Again, I think I will need to reread 3 books before we get to Silverborn. And I really, really hope that we actually get Silverborn, because it's been pushed back, but this is the 2nd year it's been pushed back. It was supposed to be October 2022. Then we thought we were going to get it this year in 2023, and now it's due 2024. I understand Jessica Townsend, the author, has been ill, so, you know, please get well, Jessica. We love your books. I want you to be able to write the best books you possibly can, but I also really, 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 really want to read it. So I really hope we get it this year. I've had it pre-ordered for like 2 years. It's still there on my Waterstones list of being pre-ordered. So yes, this is what I am most excited for. Can I do a book stack? Probably not, because I'm just going to put one of the Rhythm of War books in the pile. Will this even work? Will this even work? Okay. Here is my top 10 with Iron Widow slotted in here at number 9, and She Who Became the Sun slotted in here at number 7. There we go. This is my top sequels that I cannot wait to read. Please let me know what your opinions are on this list. If you have read all of the books, I'd love to hear your top 10 out of these. And if you only read a few, I'd still love to hear like your rankings of them. That would be fun. I mean, I feel like everyone else is going to put Stormlight at the top, but there we go. Unless you're not a Sanderson fan, then they just won't be on the list. And let me know what your own personal top 10 is, or even like your top 3. What is your top 3 most anticipated sequels of an unfinished series that you are so excited for? I would love to hear, because you know I love a chat. If you have got this far, then please leave me a super excited face. You know, the one with like the really big eyes, like that big smiley face. So I can see that you're really excited, even if you haven't got anything else that you want to add, like just so I knew you were here. If you've enjoyed this, please give this a little like. That's always nice. It's nice to know that people like the stuff, like the videos that we make. If you have not yet subscribed, that would be marvellous as well. It would be lovely, but no pressure. And I will see you all in my next video. So make sure you read some good books. Happy reading, everyone!